What's going on, guys? Shounder here. Today I want to talk about my decision to switch towards PC gaming. So if you guys are not aware, I've been pretty much a PS4 main this whole generation. PS3 for the most part, last generation, and an Xbox 360. Pretty much growing up my whole life, I've been particularly a console main person. So why the sudden switch? Well, we're going to get into a few reasons why, and if you guys are kind of debating if you should switch yourself, I know next gen consoles are on the way, you're kind of indecisive if you should switch to a PC gaming rig or just get a new console, hey, maybe both like I'm doing. We will hopefully, delve with some of your issues and questions and stuff like that. I can answer without you actually asking a question right now. But yeah, first and foremost, the past couple years in college, before I graduated, I kind of was doing game design. So I was working with a lot of PCs, and I was slightly understanding the whole PC setup. I think PC is great in terms of freedom of the individual, what you can do. When it comes to operating systems, I've always been a Mac guy. Yeah, I know, pretty weird. But I've come around to PC, and despite my issues with their operating system in general in terms of fluidity and stuff like that, I still prefer a Mac operating system. I do love a PC rig in general. Now, I've actually been slowly getting into PC gaming in the past year. I have a keyboard, I have a really good mouse. I have a decent Alienware built-in one PC currently I've used to record and stuff like that. But again, it only has a 1070 graphics card, an i7, not too much, process. I think it's 7th gen. I don't even know. But in terms of just like the whole setup, I have a pretty good rig for most games. But since next gen consoles are coming around the corner, I kind of want to make a step into the greater abyss and just get into a PC. Now, the first decision was that I kind of felt like I was capped with a controller. I pretty much reached my peak with a controller, I felt like, and just no matter how much I continue and I practice, I feel like I was still missing out on more I can learn despite me reaching my cap. So, for example, Call of Duty Warzone, I like to think I'm a pretty effective controller player. I can go hard, but I feel like if I switch to a mouse and a keyboard, I can elevate my skill even further. And that's kind of one of the reasons I'm switching. Keyboard and mouse, you can definitely elevate your skill to a whole nother level that you can't do on controller. And yes, there's some really phenomenal controller players out there. But again, the limitations of the joystick, on the analog stick, I forget, joystick something else, I think, I don't fucking know. But yeah, the limitations of a controller only let you go so far, and I'm kind of over controllers. I think a mouse and a keyboard just feels a little bit better in my hand. I work with having a controller in my hand all day, and sometimes my hands do get a little bit irritated. So going to a keyboard and mouse will definitely help, hopefully, my hands. I've noticed that I was playing Halo Master Chief Collection all day yesterday, and pretty much my hands were perfectly fine. And this was after a whole week of using controller and stuff like that. And yeah, my hands were pretty relaxed, pretty good, and I was not in any sort of discomfort when using a keyboard and mouse. So if you have hand issues and maybe you play a controller too much and your hands start feeling a little maybe a keyboard mouse would definitely be a switch for you. I do say that the learning process is not so hard in terms of the mouse. So if you guys are looking into getting into it, aiming with the mouse, in my opinion, is not the difficult part. I think the difficult part is just getting used to pressing on keys as, new buttons. It's like when you switch a controller and stuff like that, you got to get used to controller. It's the same thing. You got to get used to the keyboard. You got to get used to the bindings, get used to the, your positioning, what's best for you. Individually, there's whole different positions you can go on for. And there's a ridiculous amount of positions. I'm probably showing some on the screen right now. And, that's up to your choice, your discretion of what feels comfortable for you. And I think that's the great part about PC gaming and keyboard is that you can literally hold a keyboard how you want. Whatever works for you. Now, another reason why I'm kind of switching is that I feel like keyboard and mouse is going to kind of become the norm in any competitive game for the future. So I kind of want to beat them ahead of a curve, even though I'm kind of behind the curve. So, for example, one of my favorite games of this generation, and still one of my favorite games that I've yet to play as much this season for it, is Rainbow Six Siege. Now, on console, I think that Ubisoft has done a massive disservice to the console community. We have a massive, and I mean massive mouse and keyboard problem if you're in any high skill tree of competitive play for Rainbow Six Siege. So, in general, I'm a little bit hurt by that. I want to make sure that, when I'm playing, I have a fair advantage, and when I'm playing at a disadvantage and I'm losing because of it, it really irks me because in console, if we all had a keyboard and mouse and you beat me, you know, fair play, you were the better team, etc. In Rainbow Six Siege PS4, 95% of my losses I feel like I was cheated out of because they had 1, 2, 3 mouse and keyboard players. And in Rainbow Six Siege with no aim assist at all, I mean, I'm mixed about it. It should be on console to deal with this keyboard and mouse issue, but then there's a whole another issue with, you know, whether people using the controller version of the keyboard and mouse or whatever, like the Zim, they might get aim assist because they might recognize it as a controller, get aim assist. There's a whole bunch of issues there. I don't even want to get into it. But that problem on console makes me pissed off because I want to play my games, but I can't because I'm getting cheated out of, and it's very unfortunate. Call of Duty Warzone, I have a minor issue with keyboard and mouse, but again, there's aim assist to help counteract the balance. But if I run into a really good mouse and keyboard player, I'm most likely screwed in that situation. So I kind of don't want to be screwed anymore. I kind of want to be able to compete on an even playing field with the competitive players out there. And, you know, if you guys are a little bit pissed off at being at disadvantage dealing with mouse and keyboards, maybe in Siege or any other game, I do say maybe a PC rig is for you. Now, last but not least, I guess you could say that Xbox, Microsoft, I'll make a video talking about my problem with Xbox in general, the console itself, but Microsoft is doing a very consumer-friendly thing with Xbox Game Pass on PC. You know, it's very cheap and affordable. You get all their titles. While I've been reading that there is issues downloading their games from their app on PC, granted, this is still in beta. In general, it's a very consumer-friendly deal for you guys. It's a subscription service. You get all their exclusive titles for free, as well as other titles that they add onto the Game Pass. And as long as you guys have this Game Pass, you have the game pretty much for free, kind of, even though you're paying subscription for it. So it's a really effective subscription model that I'm surprised Stadia didn't fully incorporate and introduce. They had a subscription for their basically their best performing cloud service, and then they have you pay for full $60 for a game you technically didn't even own. It was really shady business. But I will say that Microsoft, when it comes to this part of their console, this part of their business module, they're very spot on and being extremely consumer friendly. So with Halo coming out, I do want to get into Halo. I'm a massive Halo guy. This Halo looks like it's returning to norm in terms of the gameplay mechanics of Halo that Bungie set out and did. So I'm all for that. I'm all down to check that out and play it. Obviously, things change, stuff like that. But another game I really want to get into, and specifically on PC now, because of the fidelity and just the flexibility I will have with my setup, is CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I bought this on PS4, but the problem right now I'm having is I want to play this game at max quality, and on a PS4 compared to a PC, it definitely won't be max quality. And since they pushed the date closer to ideally where the console is going to be coming out, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, I do not want to wait for an upgraded version of it. I want to be playing the best possible version, and that best possible version from launch will be on PC. So, despite me already buying it for PS4, I'm going to probably pick it up again for PC. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm hopping on the PC train. That's kind of why my schedule has been all fucked up with uploads. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm building my 2 PCs. I'm ordering the parts for my second PC currently so I can record. But yeah, it's shaping up to be some fun stuff. So if you guys are excited for, I guess, the next chapter of this channel, I know not many subscribers, but progress is progress. I'm enjoying the ride. Yeah, definitely stay tuned. If you guys new here and I helped answer your questions with PC gaming, hopefully I did. I don't really know. This is just kind of my mindset of why I'm switching to PC gaming. Now again, it's not a requirement. And if you guys are looking to get into PC gaming and you guys are a little, confused of what you need to buy, what works with what, go on PCPartPicker.com. They have a few builds you can look at, customize to yourself, change. They'll give you compatibility notes on the bottom of it. It's definitely something that is going to make building a PC a much better process for yourself. Again, you still got to build it. If you guys, there's a whole bunch of other stuff you got to worry about as well. But again, building a PC ensures that you have flexibility, and you can do it at this website at an affordable price. And no, this is not a sponsored video. I don't have the stain to do a sponsored video like this, but it works. It's good. I know a couple people that use it to build their PCs and they loved it. So yeah, PCPartPicker.com, link to it down in the description below if you guys are curious and want to build your own PC. But that being said, that's all I got to say on this one. This is a much longer video than I anticipated, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. That being said, I hope you guys have a good one. Shannon G here, and I'm out.